Welcome back, family. Lancescurv here once again for a deep, introspective discussion on the fascinating workings of human nature. I'm going to sprinkle it up a little bit, not always talk about human nature, but human nature fascinates me as it plays out in the world, in the media, in the neighborhood, in the workplace, with your neighbors, with your family, with in-laws. It's a complex web, and it never ceases to amaze me. But most of us don't notice it until something explodes or something shocks you, because either you didn't notice it, or maybe you didn't want to notice it, or you were in denial about it, especially with families or any inner circle. But the title today is Healing in the Shadows That Resisted. And basically, in a nutshell, I'm going to go into detail, but if you just want to hear what this is about real quick and leave, I'll tell you. When you advance and ascend to a new level, a new successful level, many others are not going to really like it, more than you know. This is why in this particular illustration, this particular thumbnail that you see a man in the forefront smiling. But if you look behind him, and those are supposed to be people in a close inner circle to him, they're not happy. So why is he smiling? And why are they not happy? Well, they're not happy because of his growth. They're not happy because of his promotion. They're not happy about it. Now, if he turns around real quick, they're going to smile. But those are the expressions that you just don't see. Let me tell you something. You can be laying in the bed next to somebody in a committed so-called relationship or marriage, and your ascension does not make them feel good. I'm not saying in every single case, but I've seen it. We're going to get into that. But when we begin to heal, we often expect love, support, and celebration. Yet the truth is far more unsettling, isn't it? Many of the very people who surround us in our darkest hours can become the ones who resist our growth. Their comfort depended on our brokenness. When we rise, we disturb the roles they built for themselves. Now, when you think of it that way, they become comfortable with you being where you are. And you may not be happy where you are. I don't mean a physical location like a house or an apartment, maybe that too. But where you are in life, because you know deep down inside you have so much more to offer, and you have so much more to share with the world, because the Creator gave you more than what you've displayed. And maybe displayed is a better word. We're not trying to display anything. We're trying to pour out into the world the goodness that we have inside of us. Some people have talents and abilities, and they use it for narcissistic reasons. They use it to show off. They use it to get attention. They use it to get status. They use it to get likes and shares on social media. And really and truly, that's a very shallow thing, because once the attention is gone, then it's not satisfying anymore, because they didn't do it for a genuine reason. I put up a post on TikTok and YouTube basically saying that I'm not a person who depends on the adulation of people to keep going on, because it comes from the inside. So when attention is given, fine. When there's none at all, I keep doing what I do because it's satisfactory to me. But speaking about these entities that surround us, and there are people around us that do feel good about our growing, and some downright despise it. And I've never understood that. I never understood how you can make yourself better and you have a close inner circle and deep down they despise it. And oftentimes you don't find this out for many years. And I've seen this work in families. I've seen families reveal secrets that the initial person didn't even know. But do you know your aunt despised you when you got with that girl and you married her and you started having children and you all were happy? You know your aunt despised you. And you had no clue. You're like, what? Yeah, because that no good man that she had was beating her and she felt she deserved a better life. And here you come with no problem. Wow. Give it a little time. I'm not just saying families, but inner circles, friends, neighbors, stuff starts coming out. And it could be spectacular, more than what you knew. But I've used this analogy before. You have a bunch of drunks. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to even be nice. You have a bunch of drunks on the corner standing in front of a liquor store. There's a big parking lot next to it, and for some reason, somebody donated a couch to sit in the parking lot that the winos sit in, even when it's wet from the rain and it's dusty and dirty. And whose dog is that? Winos always have a drunk-looking, humble-looking dog that hang around them. I don't know. But when one of those drunks, one of those winos, and I'm not saying it to be condescending, I'm just saying it for what it is, when one of them chooses to get away from drinking and stop the alcohol, stop the idle time and idle gossip, and clean themselves up, and eventually, secretly, they find themselves with a job. It may not be much, but now they can walk with a little dignity. And those other winos that they used to hang out with don't like it. Who does he think he is? Who does he thinks he's better than us? Well, that's your insecurity if you feel that way. And like I've said on many other programs that I've done, you're not here to babysit somebody else's insecurities, especially when they turn venomous toward you because of your ascension into improving your life and the quality of your life. Oh, I know there are people in my life, not in my inner circle, but kind of hovering on the outside. They may have been close, or I don't know, but they're angry at the thought of some progress that I've made. It's gotten back to me. And when you have hacker friends, it's not hard to find out. But healing is not only about overcoming pain. It's about exposing the silent agreements that have kept us tied down, especially in the Black community, where generations have faced trauma, oppression, and cycles of dysfunction. Healing can feel like betrayal to those who depend on the broken patterns. And this is not coincidence. It is the deep hidden law of human psychology at work. Isn't that something? And add on the trauma, oppression, and cycles of dysfunction that we've had to go through. This is not an excuse. Because just like a card game, we're all dealt with a different set of cards. You see? And we have to decide how to play those cards to win the game. And this is what I say. If you have someone who has a more favorable deck of cards, not deck of cards, but favorable hand of cards. I'm not a card player, so I kind of mix it up sometimes. And somebody peeks that's not playing the game and sees the hand, says, oh man, you're gonna win. You got a good hand. And that same person walks around somebody else and sees they have a really bad hand. Like there's no way you're gonna be able to play and win this game. But it doesn't work out that way all the time. You see, some people who have the advantages in life, oftentimes, I can't give you a percentage or a proportion, but many don't fulfill their potential or don't reflect the resources that they've had in their background, in their upbringing, in their family, to truly manifest what they could have. And you have some who come from some seriously downtrodden positions in life. And most people, while they may not openly say this, but they pretty much write that person off because they say to themselves, listen, they don't have a chance. I mean, we can make up a scenario and just roll with it. An absentee father who's locked up in prison, a drug-addicted mother who turns tricks or brings men to the house for prostitution, for drugs, another sister who is out there doing her thing, going nowhere, being used by men, and 2 or 3 younger brothers and sisters that this one particular person was put in a position to take care of. So now you can't focus on your school. Emotionally, you're off. Your mother is doing some things that's breaking your heart, ripping you apart. You can't think about school. People feel sorry for you, but they feel it's just a wrap, like nothing's going to happen with you in life. I've seen it. I've seen people in these situations turn themselves around. And the people that wrote them off, that could have given a helping hand, just a little here and a little there, when that person became successful, they didn't always applaud the results. That was something that always shocked me. Like, wait a second, am I supposed to stay in this same position? I'm not saying me, that wasn't my situation, but I'm just saying it as a figure of speech. Wherever I am and you're comfortable with it, I'm supposed to stay there? At the same time, you have people who despise you because of your potential. You have some people who see your talents and your gifts and abilities on the inside and despise you ahead of time. And they will do whatever it takes to stop you from getting there. That's another side of the coin. And they can't stand themselves when they've done all they could to stop you from shining righteously, not from an egotistical level. Because see, those too don't want you to rise, because it makes them face themselves inward and ask themselves the question, what's wrong with me? But see, every person plays a role in the web of relationships that form families, friendships, and communities. When one person breaks free from the dysfunction, others are forced to face their own unhealed wounds. This is why growth is rarely celebrated by all. It often awakens fear, resentment, and even hostility. Healing is not just personal, it is collective. When one of us rises, the entire structure of the group is challenged. I have to say that one again. When one of us rises, the entire structure of the group is challenged. We no longer play by the rules that kept everyone comfortable in shared struggle. Our group becomes a mirror, reflecting the possibility of change that others may not yet be ready to embrace. Why aren't they ready to embrace it? I've seen people sit on the sidelines and despise people who make progress, and they sit on the sidelines and never make a change. What is that? But also you have those who are progressive. Here's another angle of this. They will never help you in your healing. They will never encourage you. And they, for the most part, have the outward trappings of success. and they seem to be happy. But when you start to heal yourself and come up from a downtrodden position, it's almost like they despise you too. Like, where are your fangs coming from? You have a good life. I can't have a good life? My healing brings out a resentment in you? These are the people you have to keep away from you. And don't assume they're always going to be happy for you. You see, they're not always going to be happy for you. See, these words are not meant to soothe, but to awaken. It will reveal the hidden forces that rise against healing. It will show how the Black community can face these truths with strength, boundaries, and vision. Prepare yourself. What follows is not for the faint of heart. Every relationship contains unspoken contracts. Parents, siblings, friends, and partners may unconsciously build their identity around another person's weakness. The child's struggles can give a parent purpose. One friend's failures can give another a sense of superiority. A partner may find meaning in being the savior to someone wounded. Now, we can go on forever, but I'm gonna go back and say this one again. A child's struggles can give a parent purpose. Isn't it something that I've seen this before? When that child gets on their feet and becomes strong, that parent loses a sense of identity because they don't have to be there for the child's struggles anymore. And they too may resent it. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't have to go through those types of struggles. My parents truly love me, and I'm so thankful for their input into my life. And the friend's failures can give another a sense of superiority. So you may have friends around you that derive a sense of superiority because you continue to fail in certain areas in your life. You might be a woman who is seeking desperately to find someone to love them, and you can love them back. And you continue to find men that do you wrong, let you down, disappoint you. And you have another friend now, a female friend, who is married and has a husband. And she seems to always encourage you every time you find yourself in a failed union. She's encouraging you. So you think that she is happy when you do find someone that is true to you and honest in their intentions in your life. See, that friend will never get that rush of feeling superior because now you have someone. When you didn't have someone and they continue to break your heart, she got that rush. Oh, Lordy, I'm so glad I got my man. I'm so glad I got my beautiful home and we're paying our bills and I got my cars and I got my health. Oh man, she is over there suffering. I'm so glad I'm not like that. But she won't say it to you that way. She'll come around and encourage you. Girl, you know you're gonna find somebody. Girl, you know, as pretty as you are and worthy as you are, just hold on and keep going. And you receive these words with open arms. But even when you don't know your friend is getting a rush of feeling superior from your breakups and your heartbreaks, you receiving her advice is still toxic, even though you don't see the toxic side. See, somebody can give you a glass of lemonade, nice and cold, or a glass of iced tea on a hot summer day, and you're just drinking it down. Thank you. Oh, this thing is so good. How do you know they didn't put 3 or 4 drops of poison inside that iced tea or that lemonade? that you gobbling up so fast because it's so good, like the advice they give you and the comfort that they give you, and it's so good. But deep down, she doesn't want to see you find true love. Deep down, she doesn't want to see you have a full life. But that toxic poison is still inside of that. And consciously, you don't even know where it's coming from. You think it's coming from somebody else. You think it's coming from your own self-doubt that you can find someone. But you're getting poisoned. So this is what you have to be careful of when you deal with these entities out there. They may say the right words, but they want you to remain in the same place because it makes them feel good. They don't have to challenge themselves. But like I said, even those who appear to have it going on, they don't want you to succeed in having a full life. I just had to say that because there's a lot of that going on. And when you shift and when you get better, this is why sometimes you got to keep your mouth shut when you're doing something that's going to bring you up. I had a lot of negativity thrown my way when I moved out to West Africa. Leave the country? Now you see all of these YouTube videos of people abandoning America, leaving America and coming. It doesn't even have to be Africa. Worse that I'm enjoying myself, worse that I'm happy in this positioning. Yes, there are cultural differences and things that you have to adjust to. But I'm in a good place. No interruptions. No fake people around me. Oh, there are fake people out here, you best believe, but they can't get to me. I can have myself to myself and work on myself and begin to rise once again. And there are many people sitting on the sidelines just gritting their teeth, just knowing what's going to happen. You've got to be true to yourself. And you have to know that everyone around you who's smiling, it may not truly be a smile. It might be a grimace. And like the man in the photo, in the illustration in front of you, you turn around real quick, you'll be surprised at what you see. But when the healing begins, these roles are threatened. It feels like betrayal to the one who depended on the dysfunction. They actually feel like you betrayed them. Your drug addiction, your alcohol addiction, your sex addiction, your anger management issues, you cleared them up, and they feel as though you betrayed them. Your rise can feel like their loss. They mourn not for you who are becoming, but for who they were allowed to be in your shadow. This is not always malicious. It is often unconscious. People believe they want you to heal, yet their identity depends on your brokenness. So when you change, it makes their investment in your weakness worthless. They've invested in your weakness. They don't always want to help you. They're using you as an emotional stepping stool and a stepping stone. And when you move away from that position and rise higher, they can't step on you anymore. They can't depend on you to be the little crackhead that cleans their yard for $5 and you worked all day. They can't depend on you to be that low self-esteem woman who's always available when you want to have a little fling around the corner in the backseat of your car. Now she has dignity, and now she's virtuous now, and now she's seeing how precious she is. And you feel foolish for how you used her. And she's looking at you, not saying anything bad, but she's looking at you in a way where She knows what you are as a slimy man. And you lash out at her through other people because you can't get what you want anymore. A shift. A shift. Like when the plates shift and an earthquake happens. And lots of times between the plates, there's pressure building up. And when there's too much pressure, boom, here we go. Hot air and cold air. Here comes the thunderstorm. Opposing forces. People around you not wanting you to rise. They're comfortable in where you are because they've invested in where you are. It's like you quitting a job abruptly and the boss doesn't have anybody to replace you. That's why you got to keep your mouth shut and don't always speak on your plans to rise. In psychology, the shadow is the part of ourselves who we refuse to face. Interesting. When someone close to us begins to heal, our own shadow is exposed. Their progress feels like proof of our own stagnation, and we don't like it. Instead of inspiration, it often sparks resentment. That's very important to know. We make progress and their shadow comes out and they're forced to see it, but most of the time, they're in denial of that shadow. See? In the Black community, this can play out in many ways. A sibling who chooses education may be mocked by those who cling to dysfunction. A friend who leaves behind toxic habits may be accused of acting different. A person who dares to set boundaries is often painted as selfish. I may not want you up in my face every single day. I have a right to have boundaries. You won't honor boundaries. In reality, their healing is shining a light on wounds that others are not ready to confront. But that's your problem if you're not ready to confront those wounds. You should have been working on them all along instead of focusing on somebody and depending on them to stay in that one spot so you can have a stool to sit on. And they move away. It's like you're beginning to sit down in the chair and somebody pulls it from under you, you hit the ground. You didn't even turn around and look and see if the chair was going to stay in the same spot. You just knew they were going to be there. When you sit down in the chair, you turn around to make sure your butt is going to land on that seat. I hate to say it, but oftentimes serves you right when you land on the ground because you should have been checking out those who are around you, but you make sure you're going to have a safe landing with your butt on that seat. It's not guaranteed. Families, circles, and communities create unspoken rules of survival. These rules often include acceptable levels of dysfunction. Isn't that something? Acceptable levels of dysfunction. Learning to live with it. In some households, anger, addiction, or poverty are normalized. When one member steps beyond those limits, it threatens the entire system, and that is so true. Often include acceptable levels of dysfunction. It's just like an article I was reading, and they were saying about canned foods. In America, I'm talking about because I don't know the rules out here yet. I'm still learning. But there are acceptable levels of how many flies or bugs per how many cans of tuna fish can be in there. It's acceptable. You find a fly, a dead fly, a big horse fly that goes out in the world and lands on feces and it's inside your can of tuna fish. So basically they're saying you can't do anything about it. Maybe you can. I have opened up a can of tuna fish and saw a big behind horse fly in there. So there are acceptable levels of things that shouldn't be. That leaves the door open for mistakes and protects, to a certain point, lawsuits. Now, if every can you open up has bugs and flies in there, now we got to sit down and talk. But this is the way it is with families. Oh, that's just how the way they are, you know. Oh, when she comes home, she gonna blow up. Why should she? Why is this acceptable? If it's something within reason, if it's something outrageous where somebody normal will get angry, well, fine. I know households where anger is acceptable. Yeah. Addiction and poverty. Folks that are always broke. Always broke. They got that dumb smile on their face. You come around, hey man, and they laughing. What you laughing at? You know. You know. Oh, here it comes. Hey man, can I hold $20 till next week? Hold? Why do they say hold? You don't plan on giving it back because you're gonna come back. Well, you know. Ain't no well, you know nothing. Or better yet, I have something to be done in my house. I have a job for you to do at my house. You ask for 20, you do the job, I'll give you 50. If they can't get the free 20, they don't want the 50 they have to work for. You tell them a time. Are you free tomorrow? Yeah, I'm free. You free around 10 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, you know, I don't work. I'm home all day. Well, I got something for you to do for 3 hours. It's not hard. It's just going to take about 3 hours. Oh yeah, all right, man. I'll be there. 11:45, you don't hear from them at all. And you knew you wouldn't hear from them. And when you see them again, well, you know, I had something to do. Well, didn't you already know you had something to do? You could have told me. Well, yeah, can I still hold that 20 spot? Get out of here. Leeches. And it's acceptable because it's in people's bloodline. Generation after generation, these behaviors are accepted. I'm not downing black men, but there are some that are straight sorry. Their wives are going out there working. You don't want to do nothing. Come home, the house is nasty, and it's acceptable. But on the other hand, she's churning baby after baby from you, and she's calling you no good. Then why are you opening your legs to this no good man? What is he doing for you? Right? So we can dig deep in the source on these topics. I'm not speaking from a position of being so perfect. All I'm saying is these are things that I see. And when you talk about a certain situation, you got to go deep. You just can't go on the surface. That ain't going to do nothing. That's like putting makeup on a corpse. Oh, she looks so well. She looks so good, but she's dead. And a lot of us put on for the outside world, but our relationships with each other with this dysfunction and being angry at those who are healing around us, we're dead. If you can harbor resentment, then you've become a vessel for unclean spirits, and you'll never heal, no matter how well you are dressed up. You're nothing but a corpse. You're just alive. You're not living. And some people hold these resentments their entire life. Decade after decade after decade. And it comes out. And I'm very, not sensitive in a weak way, but sensitive and perceptive. And yes, I am an empath. Yes, I am. I pick up on stuff quick. That's why there's some folks who see me immediately and feel me out after a few minutes and realize we don't like this guy. He sees right through us. And I don't say anything. I just don't want to be around you, that's all. And that pisses these people off because that's confirmation that I can see through them like a cheap novel. And it's painful to see sometimes when there's people who are really close to you. It's painful, but it's necessary. It's necessary. that you see what's really around you and clear the way for your own healing. And some of us, it's sad, there are some of us who try to please those around us, mostly family members, in-laws, whatever, and will keep ourselves from healing just to be part of the crowd. Isn't that sick? That's the sickest of all. You have it in you to get better, but you refrain from healing just to please the do-nothings around you who have no desire to go higher. That's suicide. Why are you doing this to yourself? You don't want to hurt their feelings? That pretty much is what it is. See, healing disrupts these hidden agreements. The person who seeks therapy, leaves abuse, or refuses silence becomes the problem. Isn't that something? You become the problem. If you leave the abuse or seek therapy, you're upsetting the apple cart. Not because they are wrong, but because they are no longer fit into the old pattern. The old pattern. Don't you want to get better? This is why growth often leads to rejection. It violates the invisible contract that kept everyone else comfortable. It kept them comfortable. Now you got to go on to make yourself better. Now you're going to go on and try to go to school and learn something. And you know, ain't nobody in this family ever went to school. Ain't nobody in this family ever had a good job. Now, why you want to go on and get that good job? I hear you got good credit now. Why you want to go ahead and get good credit and show off on us? Who you think you are? And they'll pick fights for you for other reasons. Oh, you bougie. Well, you got your nose up in the air now. Oh, and here they come with the race card too. Oh, you think you white. Who said white was better? But that's them old, encrusted, ignorant folks who really are going nowhere because their mind is not pointed in that direction. But they can sure show out at church on a Sunday. Oh, these are some good people. They're saved and sanctified, holy, clean living. Yeah, right. Let them go home and make their phone calls. Let them hang around in the church parking lot after the service. The service was an hour and a half and they're out there for 3 hours talking about everybody. Oh, here comes Sister Shirley. You know she's shacking up with that man, Brother Watson. And she messing around with the mailman too. I heard. Coming up in here trying to act holy. What business is it of yours? It upsets them when you try to heal. Even if you were doing those things and you stop, they'll never let you hear the end of it. See, you got people like that. No matter how high you rise, they're going to bring up some old 20-year-old, 25-year-old stuff and remind you of it as though it's going to bring you back in that place. And you acknowledge it. You say, yes, that happened. And that was me at that particular time. But that was 25 years ago. What's going on now? Bring them right back up to the present. See, they don't realize it, but when you heal, the old version of you dies. Friends, family, and partners may grieve this loss. The person they knew, predicted, and depended on is gone. This grief is real, even if your transformation is positive. Many in our community face this when breaking cycles of generational pain. The one who sets new boundaries may no longer resemble the obedient child or the dependent sibling. Loved ones may struggle to recognize this new version. Their resistance is not only anger, it is grief for the old relationship dynamic that can never return. You hear them now? I like the way you used to be before. You're different now. And they're uncomfortable because you're shining and you're not trying to throw off on anybody. And they'll make it seem as though you are. Years have gone by and you've healed. And they're stuck in the same old place. You're thinking different. You're getting around different people. You have new ideas. You're living life. And the sad part about it is not to throw off on material possessions, but it may be a while before you came back around these people and you chose to visit them, and they got the same junk where it was 15, 20 years ago. The same junk in their china closet, dusty. The same junk on their table. The same box of stuff that they had to sort through in their living room sitting next to the couch that they never went through. Everything's the same. Everything's the same. Most of them like that are pack rats anyway. You got one path through the living room, one path through the dining room. Kitchen is backed up. Toxic. Can't change. Can't pull away the old and let in the new. If you can't let go of the old, how are you going to accept the new? How are you going to accept the new you when you dragging all the old attributes and bad habits around? How are you going to do this? And for many, in the face of this kind of resistance, the temptation is to shrink back, to dim your light so that others feel less threatened. And they're going to try to get you to do this. Don't you do that. But healing demands courage. You are not responsible for making others comfortable with their own shadows. That's their responsibility. You're not responsible for making others comfortable with their own shadows. That's their junk. That's their burden. That's what they got to deal with. I never understood it. And this keeps people in a state of stagnation, whole families. Because you have sometimes a mother or father or both parents or an aunt that will beat you into submission to staying in that same place. If you silence your growth for their acceptance, you sacrifice your future for their fear. Healing requires standing firm even when others turn away. Let them go. In the Black community, this courage is survival. Our progress has always been met with resistance, both outside and within. Yet progress has never come from silence. You got to think your thoughts. You got to sort this thing out. You turn your head away and remain silent, you're going to be just like the other crowd. And you'll be in that crowd, mad when somebody makes progress. And while healing must be bold, it does not always have to be abrupt. The human mind resists sudden change. When growth is revealed gradually, it gives others space to adjust without overwhelming fear. It's sad that you have to tiptoe through the tulips with other people who have a stake in your life or a hand in your life from your upbringing. But if the change comes fast, it's going to frighten them. You're going to really get a lot of resistance then. And blowback in the comments, in the attitudes, sneak up on them with it. But this does not mean hiding your transformation. It means pacing it, setting boundaries one step at a time, replacing dysfunction with new habits slowly but firmly. Like planting seeds, healing unfolds in stages. It doesn't happen overnight. Each stage gives others a chance to accept what is happening. You see? It's very important that you see it this way. True healing requires boundaries. It requires it. Boundaries are not walls to shut people out. In some cases they are, the physical walls. You don't want people in your business. but doors to invite healthier relationships in. When we say, I love you, but I cannot continue in this pattern, we are creating space for authenticity. In Black families and relationships, this principle is vital. Without boundaries, cycle of pain repeat endlessly. With boundaries, we create new standards for respect, growth, and dignity. But when you don't have those boundaries, those cycles of pain repeat endlessly, and you find yourself back in the same place with no progress in your healing. And relationships can be broken permanently if you don't heal gradually, or keep them out of it for a while, because they take this to heart. Boundaries spoken with compassion allow others to rise with us instead of being left behind. See, when others resist your healing, do not always respond with defense. You gotta have a little understanding. Sometimes resistance is a hidden cry for help. By inviting them into your growth, sharing resources, extending understanding, or offering to walk together, you can turn their fear into possibility. That's a beautiful thing. Now, if they resist that, you're in trouble. You're on your own. Not everyone will accept the invitation, though. But those who do may begin their own journey through being inspired by you and not fearing the fact that you're healing. Right? Your transformation can become the spark for collective healing, shifting not just your life, but the life of the entire community, the entire family. That's a beautiful thing. Then it's positive. But then there's some who are so resistant to their healing and they cling to their wounds. That's a whole other topic. They don't want to heal, and they don't want you to try to help them to heal, and they cling to their wounds in that broken place, like a broken record over the years. Otis left me 30 years ago, and he ain't never come back. I know I was cheating on him, but he didn't have to do that to me and leave me like that. I was going to stay with him. And he found that other woman out there and got married to her, and they got 3 beautiful babies, and she took my life away. No, you threw it away because you was cheating. Face it. I know so many personalities. These are real people that I know too. The names have been changed to protect the dysfunctional. Wow. The hardest truth to accept is that not everyone will come with you. Some will cling to dysfunction until the very end. Yes, I just said that. Yet your responsibility is not to pull them. It is to rise, because everybody's not going to want to go with you. And maybe in a different direction. It doesn't mean they have to heal like you, because their wounds are different. But by healing fully, you become proof that transformation is possible. And to some, it's signaling to them that there's no excuse. And they may take that offensively. Now, who do you think he is? That whole thing. But with Black folks, this proof is more than personal. It is generational. Each healed person plants seeds of possibility. Each cycle broken clears a path for the next generation to walk stronger. Healing is not easy. It threatens relationships, awakens shadows, and disrupts comfort zones for sure. But it's necessary. Without it, cycles of pain repeat endlessly. With it, we create new legacies of strength. But do not shrink for the sake of others' comfort. Your healing is not an act of betrayal. It is an act of survival. It is the foundation of freedom, both personal and collective. And you have to do what you have to do to attain that, because this is your life. And you have to understand that resistance will come. Expect grief. Expect criticism. And even anticipate and expect rejection. If you don't get it, all the beautiful. But chances are it will come. But also know that healing has the power to transform more than your own life. It can transform the future of an entire people. Your responsibility is not to convince everyone, but to heal anyway. To stand as living proof that growth is possible, even in the face of resistance. And in time, those who resist may come to see the light of your transformation. Even if they do not, your healing will remain a beacon for generations yet to be born. Generations that are yet to be born, your picture may be on the mantle, and grandchildren or great-grandchildren will be reminded of who you are in breaking the cycle of dysfunction in your family. We have video now. Videos will be played beyond our lifespan. See, the effect that we have on people is greater than our physical body, meaning that we think we have to be directly in contact with people, but when you have a reputation of transformation and growth and healing, people begin to talk. They'll see your example even from a distance and share it with somebody else, even if they don't mention your name. It's not like social media, like and share. But we all know that person from a distance that wasn't doing too good, and we see them one day and it's like, wow, I don't know your entire journey, but I know what I saw before, and I'm so glad you changed. But it's just amazing to me to see that there will be people that resist your change. If you're hanging out with a bunch of ladies that like to go to the restaurant and eat every weekend and do nothing else except sit down and get bigger, but when you decide to go walking in the morning and clean up your diet, maybe go to the gym, you think they're going to be happy? Encourage them and try to bring them along, even with little steps. But you're still going to get resistance. And this also comes down to how people see you, because they don't know what's incubating inside of you. They don't know what's growing, hidden away from the outside world. You have something growing in you, a seed growing in you. You're inspired to do something. Don't let people get around you and crush that, because they're good for that. And stop telling everybody what your plans are in your healing, because they'll crush it so easily and so quickly. This is not to think paranoid, but we know we have people out here like that. And people may say, Scurv, you're over the top with this paranoia. Okay, take your jewelry or your jewelry box and put it on the curb in the street and leave it there all night. And tell me if you find it back there in the morning time. Take your car and go drive to the all-night supermarket and leave your keys in there with your door open. And tell me if that car stays there. Okay? Take all your money out of the bank through the ATM or go draw it out. And go to the food court of the mall and put that envelope down, but leave it open with a few bills poking out. And go home and tell me if it's going to be there the next day. By the time you turn your back and go to the bathroom and leave that money on the table, it's gone. You see where I'm going with this? You've got to protect yourself. This is the kind of world that we live in. And where once I'd like to romanticize that we as a people were different, we always had the negative entities. And so we must allot a little energy for that so we can heal in a safe manner. I've healed up from so many different things, different perceptions, different mindsets, There may not have been major things, but little things that can cloud your vision. And I can say more and more, at this age of 62, I'm still healing from things. And I think that life is a process of constant healing. I think it's sad when we don't even understand the wounds that we have. I think it's really sad when we nurse the wounds and act as though they don't exist. And we keep pushing through while we're damaged. I see grown men who are unhealed, traumatized little boys, acting like men. They have the visage of men, but they do some childish things and turn around and blame you. I see women who are so hurt deeply, and they carry these hurts, beautiful as they are. And after you're with them for a time, it begins to come out. It's not a problem. Help them heal. But when they refuse to heal now, that's a whole different ballgame. So this is a time for healing. But understand there are shadows that will resist it. And it's not easy. You have to stay true to yourself, stay true to your goals, stay true to the practices that will keep you in a place of healing, and don't let anybody discourage you. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you so much for listening. Tomorrow will be another message. And I love you all for being here. And I hope that you got something out of this. I don't know everything, but what little I know, I can pass on to you. Like, share, and subscribe. Lancescurv out. On to the next one. Peace.